And having a male prom queen promotes homosexuality.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. I am your average Redditor, and today we're going to be looking at r/EntitledParents. Before we get into the video, subscribe with notifications on for daily Reddit content. Right, let's get into these crazy Reddit stories. EP tries to protest graduation because we had a male prom queen. I went to my state's performing arts school for high school, and as such, our school culture was a bit more open and progressive than the average public school in the early 2000s. We also had a larger LGBTQ population ratio-wise, or rather a larger out LGBTQ population because of this. My senior year, my friend, let's call him Patrick, decided as a joke to throw his name in the ring for prom queen. Patrick was rather popular across the school and happened to be gay, and since our graduating class was all of 60 people, having a lot of friends turned what was intended as a spur of the moment goof into an actual nomination. I'd like to make clear at this point that absolutely no one at the school, kids or administration, had a problem with this, and many of us loved Patrick dearly and thought if anyone deserved to win a popularity contest, it was him. Also, even though Glee apparently did this in one of their later seasons, I swear this actually happened and was long before that show. Anyway, prom arrives and of course Patrick wins. Everyone was thrilled. Patrick accepted with grace and humility, and he shared a nice dance with his straight friend who had been elected king. It was a lovely night, and that was supposed to be that. Fast forward to a week before graduation. I'm heading into the school to start my morning period of being an office aide when I see all these flyers on the ground of the entryway and taped to the doors. I pick one up and I'm met with a page-long diatribe written by the EM of our story and meant for the parents of other students. In said diatribe, she notes the following.
Having a male prom queen is disrespectful to all the young ladies of the school who dream their entire lives of wearing a pretty dress, wearing a crown and dancing with a handsome man. Because F going to college or wanting to dance with a hot girl, am I right? Having a male prom queen is an affront to God and good Christian values. And having a male prom queen promotes homosexuality.
Essentially, those 3 points were regurgitated in some form for an entire page. The missive ended with a detailed plea that we students give the letter to our parents so they can join her in her protesting the school at graduation, a graduation in which said parents would have children graduating. The admin was obviously aware of this and had pulled Patrick into the office to assure him that everything was fine, and this woman would not be allowed within 5 feet of the building come graduation day. We found out later that the EM had her panties in a twist because her daughter hadn't been crowned prom queen. In fact, she hadn't even made it past the nomination phase, and most people didn't even know who she was. Again, 60-person graduating class. In her mind, this was all Patrick's fault and something needed to be done. How she thought that she would somehow convince a bunch of majority liberal parents to skip their own kids' graduation to protest a well-liked member of the school winning prom queen was beyond me. No big dramatic ending here, sorry. The principal called EM and ripped into her and put the fear of police involvement into her, and there was no lone protester outside our graduation. Alright, you know what? Screw this EM. Let's get a hashtag going in the comments. Hashtag Patrick for prom queen. Put it down there and I'll heart it. Only men in uniform can date my daughter. So date her. This just happened this morning, so buckle up, it's gonna get entitled. As I type this up, I'm heading down to Debert, Nova Scotia to participate in a Canadian Forces marksmanship competition for Atlantic Division placement. I know I've butchered that pronunciation, I'm sorry. This morning, while on my way into the garrison, I stopped at my local Tim's for breakfast and that all-important morning coffee. After parking my car, I noticed an SUV covered in Remember 9/11 stickers, a few police crests and a New Jersey license plate. It wasn't unusual to see American tourists up our way, as this part of my province was particularly beautiful, but I've never seen an eyesore like that car. I took a glance and went inside. As soon as I went in, I knew who owned that SUV outside. In fact, I'd have to be deaf, dumb and blind not to know. There was an older man around his late 50s, early 60s, complaining about how long the food was taking to make, a woman about the same age standing beside him, with a horribly defeated look on her face, and a girl about my age, early 20s, complaining about how she hates the food and coffee from that particular Timmy's. I tried to ignore them, order my food and leave. This wasn't going to be the case, obviously. The man did a double take when he noticed me in my uniform and pointed me out to his daughter. The two of them got quiet and I noticed them sort of whispering to each other, but I gave it no mind. After ordering my food, I felt a tap on my shoulder and a "excuse me." This is how it went. EF is entitled father. "Oh hello, can I help you?" "Yes, I was wondering if you were in the Canadian Army." "Well, infantry reserves, but essentially, yeah. Why?" "Well, my daughter over there wants to date a uniformed man while we're up here, and she was wondering if you'd be that man." He pointed to his daughter, and so I don't come off as a dick, I'll just say that she was not in any way my type. On top of that, I had recently come out of a long-term relationship and wasn't in the mood to get back into the dating game. I politely decline and tell him that I'm kinda busy right now. He didn't like that answer.
You're saying no to my daughter? What are you, gay? Just look at her. Any guy would be lucky to date her. How dare you disrespect her?
This response threw me off. I wasn't expecting him to get super offended about this. The daughter just looks right sad about all of it and cuddles up to her mum. At that moment, my breakfast is passed to me, which I take and just leave, with EF shouting and cussing me out all the way. He follows me to my car and even throws what I believe was a rock at me as I drive off. So yeah, relatively short story, but I wanted as little problems from that situation as possible. No way was I getting denied to be in this competition because of some crazy loony dude. How many stories do we see on this subreddit where EP says, date my daughter, everyone says no, and then EP says, well F you then? It just makes no sense, these people are crazy. Entitled Mum takes my $200 art kit because I look too old for it. Context, I'm a 13-year-old male. However, many people think I am older, as I look older and I am extremely tall. I just got into art and bought myself a $200 art kit, because why not? EM is entitled Mum, EK entitled Kid, but was pretty nice. Me, of course, it's me. Alright, so I had just gotten out of school. I go to a fairly large middle school and was waiting for my own mum to pick me up on a park bench. I brought my art kit to school that day so I could work on my drawing, and I had the kit out. Then, this kid, I'd say 6 years old, comes up to me.
What are you drawing?
He asks in that little kid voice. Nothing much, just a picture of myself.
I like your art.
Ha, thanks man. Then EM comes up and this conversation ensues.
Hello there, why the hell were you talking to my son? You're like 16?
Sorry mum, he wanted to see my art.
Oh, he wants to be an artist when he grows up. You look too old for a kid's drawing kit.
I put a few Star Wars stickers on the box and painted it blue.
You should give it to my son.
Miss, I'm 13 and this kit costs $200. I'm not gonna give it to your toddler, sorry.
It's a public park, so your kiddie drawing kit is public property. And plus, I know you're 16. Stop lying to me.
What the hell? No, mum. This is my $200 drawing kit. I'm not going to give it to you. EM proceeds to try to wrestle it out of my hands. She eventually tackles me to the ground. At that point, my dad shows up, thank God it wasn't mum, and yells at her to get the hell off of me. She bolts along with her kid, and my dad and I go to our house. I love the EP's logic here. Imagine this kid being too old for art. How stupid is that? Anyway, that is the end of another episode of r/EntitledParents. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, like, share and subscribe for more Reddit content from me.